guys, and welcome back finally to today's episode of Teacher Time with Shani. That's me. So it's been a while. I know. I am sorry once again. But at the end of last year, it was graduation. And as much as I wanted to be like Sakina and record like a whole, oh my gosh, I'm graduating video. Yeah, life didn't happen like that. And then after graduation, it was my birthday, which I also wanted to record. Yeah, that didn't happen either. Life is hard, man. Yeah, and then after that, I started with my life as a teacher. Yay! So I am here now to tell you guys about how my first term as a first year teacher has gone. So a lot of you already know that the school that I am at is the same school that I did my practicals at last year in third term. So during the practicals, the principal, my mentor teacher, she liked me. She kept on asking me, or she told me like I should apply at the school, but I kept on saying no because I'd actually been approved to go to Korea, so I was going to go and teach English in South Korea. But then, during pracs and everything, I was busy teaching and everything, and she kept on saying, Shani, please apply. And I was like, Korea though. And then one day the principal came in and he observed one of my lessons, and then he called a meeting with the teachers. Then he called me in for a meeting and he was like, Shani, look, I know you have these plans already, but do know that we would love to offer you a position here. So please consider, if you really want to go, we would understand, but we would really love to have you stay. We feel like it'd be a great contribution to the school. And then I made istikhara, made dua, spoke to my parents, really just sat down, allowed myself to think about it, and then I decided that I was going to stay and take the position at the school. So obviously I've been there ever since, and it was so funny because during pracs, it was like, they were like, Shani, we'll see you here next year, right? But just make sure you pass. And I'm like, I will try my best. But then I passed, yay, alhamdulillah. And now I'm here and I am loving it. It is the best decision that I could have made. Honestly, I have no regrets. I am so thankful. Obviously, in the beginning, during the holidays, especially thinking about, should I have gone? Is it good for me to stay? Personal growth, all of that. But I am so, so thankful to be here. I'm so happy. The school is my whole entire heart. I'm really blessed to be given this opportunity to work at the school. I am so happy. The people, the teachers are incredible. I'm so happy. I could talk about that forever, but I'm not going to do that. Let me get started. So I had posted on my WhatsApp that I wanted my friends to ask me a couple of questions that you guys thought that I could answer during this video. I got a lot of questions. I actually think that I'll have to make this into like a series. So this is gonna be Teacher Time episode 1. And then all of the other questions, like I'll answer in like following videos, because I don't think that there will be enough time. I mean, it's already 3:30. 3:30. It's already 30 minutes past 3. No, man, what am I saying? There's already 3 minutes and 45 seconds that have passed in this intro alone. So I'm gonna try and keep this video like as short as possible, but you know me, I ramble. So let's get it. Expectations versus reality. To be honest, I'm not exactly certain. I don't even remember what my expectations were when I first started. I think the expectation that all of us have as first year teachers is that teaching is going to be the same as pracs. Obviously, we understand, it's going to be a bit more because, we're going to have our own class and, it's going to be a little bit more admin, this, that, and the other. Y'all. Ooh, if you must know, it was a hectic term. I think getting used to this whole new system of life, this whole new routine, all of the admin we need to do, the lesson planning, the prep, all of the meetings we need to attend, our extramurals, our kids meetings, supports, parent-teacher meetings, everything is so much. When we are busy studying, university did not prepare us for this at all. Full stop. Like, straight up. I am learning approximately 80% of the things that I've learned how to be a teacher has been in this first term. So 4 years, how nice. Didn't really help much, but okay. It has been a roller coaster. The things that we expected, the way that we thought the curriculum was going to work, the way that we thought we would be using most of our resources, things, it ended up being completely different. And chatting to different friends of mine at other schools, it's different for each school. And I think that's one of the things we were all taught in such a generic way. This is how you're going to do this. This is what differentiation means. This is what this is. And then we get to schools and it's completely different. And the support teams are like this, and this is like this, and each school has their own way of dealing with conflict and admin and behavior and all of this. And I think the reality of the matter is that as soon as you get into school for the first time, it is going to be completely different to what you were expecting at university. And that's okay, because it's not necessarily a bad thing. I think it's actually a good thing. I think it's just you would obviously want to be a bit more prepared. But I was thrown for a roller coaster in that first week, that first 2 weeks, that first 3 weeks, or the whole first term. Like, it was hectic. I think what we expected was going to be happening in classes was not what actually happened. I think just realizing that it is different from, oh, I'm going to have a class. Oh, this is what my class is going to be like. Oh, this is what the school is going to be like. Completely different. But I think the most important thing is to remember that just because the reality is different with expectations doesn't mean that that's necessarily a bad thing. You need to stay positive during everything that you learn. But yeah, the workload and the admin and the time, yeah. I feel like being a teacher itself is my personal life and my social life and my work life all in one, because the amount of time that it takes to get a hold of everything. But you know what? It was first term. It was my first term being a proper teacher, all of ours. And I think everybody needs to go through this initial, what is going on? This is like, my school is taking up my whole entire life. I think it needs to at that first point, so that you can get settled, so that you can learn how to do things, so that you can get used to the way that things are supposed to be, so that you can understand and pick up on how much time should be spent on this. What does this actually mean? Your first term in first year is definitely a term for growth and for understanding. It is the term in which you realize what your duties are, what is expected from you, what you need to plan, what you need to prepare for, etc., etc. So that is definitely the biggest thing that everybody needs to realize, is that whatever you expect going in is not what's actually going to happen, but that's okay. You just need to be able to adapt to what the reality is. Next question. Most challenging part of teaching grade 4. The most challenging part for me. During the past 3 years that we did pracs during university, we would always be sent for the 3-month prac in third term. In the third term, grade 4 learners are already mentally developed for grade 5. However, we weren't shown that when they come from grade 3 to grade 4, they're practically babies. I did my pracs in grade 4 in second year, and I did my pracs in grade 4 in fourth year as well, because grade 4, I love grade 4. Obviously, because of my degree, I'm qualified to teach from grade 4 up until grade 9, but I'm definitely a primary school teacher. High school doesn't really work so great for me. So anyway, so I'm expecting, as soon as I started, I am expecting that my learners are going to be how they were during pracs last year in term 3. Complete opposite. That was the most challenging thing for me, was going from an expectation that, okay, my kids are going to know how to do their headings, and they divide up their work and prep this and plan this and do the lines and write the dates and how to write out the questions and how to work from this book and that book. It is not like that at all. I have to practically spoon feed them at the beginning of the term, because they literally come from foundation phase initially. The first 2 weeks, they would not speak to me. They honestly just sat in my classroom and were just staring at me for whatever I was doing with them. They weren't many of them that were putting up their hands to answer questions, share things. But you kind of realize that that's the way they are in the beginning, because they're new to this as well. They're scared. They're going to grade 4. It's big school. They don't know what to expect. So For me, the most challenging part was realizing that grade 4s, when they come from grade 3 at the beginning of the year, is not the same as what they are like in pracs in third term. And just to have to mentally like zhush my brain down in order to be able to handle that, because I was expecting them to do a lot of things that they couldn't do at that stage. But I learned, and it took a lot of patience, because I went in there and I was like, cool, do your headings, do this. Then they stare at me and I'm like, okay. Then I took a minute and I was like, no, fix your brain, redo this, rewind, change the movie and press play. And then I went through it with them and I did this, and I had to explain things more than 4 times, and I had to allow them to use up another period to finish writing because they weren't used to writing this much. And I had to do this and I had to do this and I had to change almost all of my lessons. But that's okay, because at the end of the day, they're just children. They're just learners. They're at that age where they are now learning how to grow up. I can't expect them to be grown already, but the expectation was that they would be there because that was the time when we were shown what they are like. We do observations for 2 weeks at the beginning of the year, but what is that even? Those 2 weeks, those kids didn't even speak to me. They didn't speak to their real teachers while we did observations. So we're even, you catch my drift. So for me personally, the most challenging part of teaching grade 4 was definitely realizing that as soon as they come from grade 3, they are still babies, and that I need to work on my patience with them at that beginning as they learn what is expected from them. But at the end of this term, I had a nice chat with them, sat on my table in front of them. Okay, I shouldn't have, okay, yeah, I sit on my table sometimes. Yeah, okay. And then I had my notebook in front of me and I was like, guys, let's talk about what worked this term. Let's talk about what we had problems with, and let's talk about what is expected from you guys at the start of next term. And me and my kids, we really discussed, and we came to the conclusion that they learned how to set up questions. They learned how to write down answers. They learned about their margins and how to use color, how to do the headings, how to do the dates, how to write down this, that, and the other, what graphs are, what is expected when they do a table. You need to use a ruler. We learned, and I told them, I was like, guys, in this first term, we learned all of the basics. Now you need to remember this, because next term, we're going to hoy it from the start, and we are just going to work. We're going to tackle this, and we're going to get things done, and it's going to be awesome. And they spoke to me, and they were like, yes, Ms. Khan, this is what we do. And I asked them, what do you think I should do in the classroom to help you out a bit more? And then they said, why don't you put this up on the board? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do... I'm like, okay, honeys, great. Wrote it down. You need to have that type of system with your kids. You need to allow yourself to understand and to acknowledge the fact that they're also mini human beings with their own ideas and thought patterns. You guys don't understand halfway through the term, and I actually spoke to another teacher from another school about this, but I had so many brilliant ideas brought to me by my own little babies, my own little learners in the classroom, telling me, Miss Khan, why don't we do this? Miss Khan, instead of doing that over there, why don't you do this? Miss Khan, on the Sharky chart, why don't you divide it up in the groups already? Then they can just move their name. Then you don't have to decide or find out who is who. I'm like, you know what? You guys are geniuses. Brilliant. Well done. Not putting you in a fixed mindset. I don't tell them you're a genius, but I'll be like, thank you so much for coming up with that great idea. And then I'll change things in the classroom. I'll create the ink blobs and I'll divide the sections and I'll put this up on the board. And it works because we work with a system, we work with each other. And it's just amazing because we need to take their opinions into account. You forget, teachers, people, humans forget that kids end up spending more time in their own classroom than sometimes they do at their own homes. Sleeping doesn't even count. They go home, they eat, they whatever, then they sleep. Okay, then they come back to school and most of the day is spent in the classroom. They need to feel like it is comfortable for them. They need to feel like this is their home. And in order to do that, we need to allow them to also share inputs of how they want to build the space. I don't know how I got onto that topic from what is challenging of teaching grade 4. What's the time? Oh my goodness, 14 minutes. Oh my goodness. Okay, y'all, I'm going to hoy one more question. I've only gotten through 2 questions. You see how much I can talk about this, y'all. Oh, I should just made like a movie. No movies. Okay, cool. Last question out of, so that'll be 3 questions out of the current 16 that I have written here. Oops. Expect 4 more episodes, please. Wait. 3, 6, 9, 12. 5 more episodes if I can. Wow, guys, I'm sorry, my brain is on break, so do not expect me to math. Subjects I teach. Okay, I teach grade 4, so that means that I have my own grade 4 register class, and I teach them majority of the subjects that they do in grade 4. So I teach them maths, I teach them English. I'm also the English head of the entire grade, so that means that I plan out all of the lessons, all of the resources, tasks, assessment planning, etc. like that. I teach them Afrikaans, I teach them natural sciences and technology, I teach them both social sciences, which is geography and history. And then the last subject, which is life skills, is broken up into 4 different sections. We have personal and social well-being, we have physical education, we have music, and we have art. Out of all of those 4, I teach them personal and social well-being. I also teach personal and social well-being to another grade 4 class. And then my learners also have computers as well as library. I go with them to computer so that I can assist the computers teacher, just making sure the kids are paying attention, they're following along, help them here and there. And library, they do with a librarian. They learn how to get library books and how to, understand what is being read to them, how to use dictionaries, how to study, things like that, which is really brilliant. I love that they have library periods and that the kids are allowed to go and take out books. Reading is especially essential. They also keep their reading books underneath their desks at all times, 24/7. Whenever they're done with tests, they may take out their reading books and then they can read. We encourage them to read as much as possible, which is extremely important. So yeah, so those are the subjects that I teach. So basically all of the subjects. You guys already know that I'm qualified to teach EMS as well. I am quite sad that I don't get to teach EMS. EMS was literally my sole subject. I love EMS, but that is only for grade 7. Who knows, maybe in the next couple of years they be like, hey, why don't you slide in here? I can hear my bird. Me too. Okay, so my bird is walking around somewhere in my house. I just heard his feet. Anyways, so yeah, so those are the subjects that I teach. Whoa! What did I just do? Oh wait, is that there? I don't know. Okay. All right. So yeah, so I teach all of the subjects. That's it. Cool. So I managed to get through 3 questions in this video and it is already 18 minutes. I am so sorry. As you know, when I start talking, shame, I go on a tangent and I can't stop. But I think it's important to allow your thoughts to just flow through your brain rather than having constructed thoughts that you are wanting to say out loud, because then it's not coming from the heart, So everything that I said is basically me like word salad. Bam. But anyways, thank you so much for watching this video, the first episode of Teacher Time with Shani. That's me. Thank you so much. I hope you guys are having a wonderful holiday. Obviously, schools are closed for 3 weeks now because of the coronavirus. For those of you who are staying at home, I hope this is a time of mental healing, a time of relaxation, that you don't get too frustrated not doing anything. Please try and self-isolate. For those of you who have no choice but to go out and work and go run grocery shopping and things like that, please stay safe. Please take the necessary precautions. Try not to spend too much time around people. Use hand sanitizer. Wash your hands. Encourage your children to wash their hands. Live a good life. Don't do drugs. Yeah, I don't know what I'm... Okay, so thank you so much. I will see you guys soon. Bye.